Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another special episode of the Bachi Boys. We have the entire crew here. This is a special weekend episode. It's the middle of the Saturday night. We got college football games on right now. We're going to discuss the entire NFL slate. And guess what? We got more than a couple special guests for this one. So you better be tuned in for the entire thing. It's a Saturday, Sunday, whatever you're watching this, be ready. The entire Bachi Boys crew starts right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Bachi Boys. We have a special episode here, live from the Cardi compound. The fellas are gathered here for our annual Thanksgiving week festivities, should I say. We have a crew of people here. Come on, everybody get a shot. Come on. So we got a bunch of people here. We're going to go through some college football. We're going to go through some NFL football. We're going to do it all. Starting with This is bad, Davis. We technically don't have it integrated right now. We're getting it through right now. This is the technicality difficulties you'll deal with on a Saturday episode of the Bachi Boys. But we got Mason here, we got David here, we got Jason here. If you don't recognize some of these people, screw you, because you haven't been watching since the absolute beginning of Bachi Boys, right, Davis?
These are the weekly listeners. Listen, we started this podcast around COVID. These guys are actually on the podcast to start. We were talking about Marvel. We were talking about some crazy things.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, those are some crazy times.
Yeah, we did a video on the Mandalorian one time. Where's Amir? He remembers that. That was really bad. That was an all-time classic, a hood classic, some people say. But, I mean, we didn't get much further than that. We stick to sports here on this podcast. But currently, we are trying to integrate the Google slideshow that we usually use every single week that we're going to start using in just 1 second. But, Davis, the first thing I have to say,
Now connected to iPhone.
the Sixers won last night.
Yeah.
All right, Will, get behind. Will, come to the screen.
All
All right, so Will's going to get added to this because, you know what? Will is one of the biggest should I say Sixers supporters that I know, because he texts almost every single Sixers game and goes, the Sixers suck, the Sixers are this and that, blah, blah, blah. But Will, they won last night, all right? We're getting in between a couple of slides here, but it's okay. Will, I want you to tell me how you're feeling about the Sixers right now.
Dude, the question that I think everybody wants answered is there compound V in the nail polish?
I don't know.
There has to.
Is there compound V in the nail
So
polish?
now that we're set up, you're seeing last night, Will. Jared McCain dropped, 26, 30 points last night? He played phenomenally. The Sixers got their third win of the year. They got a win in the NBA Cup standings.
Well, did he 26 or 30 points? Because that was a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Aaron Reynolds dropped 26 points in our big win over Texas Tech. It was an important win for the St. Joe's men's basketball Hawks.
All right.
Go on.
I'll give this chance to shout out David Shue, former St. Joe's University lacrosse player.
St. Joe's basketball is on the come up. We beat Villanova the last 2 years. Eric Reynolds, Xavier Brown. Who else? We got Rasheer Fleming, all dogs.
Ooh, Rasheer Fleming.
Anyway, wow. Xavier Brown, he's throwing out names. But let's get back to the Sixers. We hear the theme in the background right now. It's a big win last night, low-key. I'm going to get serious for a second. I hate to underscore the moment, but they got to win at home without Joel Embiid, with, possibly the backcourt of the future. Stop the music. I want to get serious for a second. Are Maxey and McCain the Golden State of Philadelphia's future?
Nope. Dude.
I'm just saying, because we have two shooters, two dynamic guards that can get it done. What did one thing that Golden State didn't have? A dynamic / dominant sometimes center. I know all the things you guys want to say about Joel Embiid. We can talk about Joel Embiid all day. But we might have two guards that can get it done. Will, take the floor.
We got two guys that can get it done.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Davis is fear. He's in fear right now.
If you've listened to this podcast at all in the last few weeks, you know this is not my team. I have now owned the Phoenix Suns as my team.
We both have futures.
Now connected to
This
iPhone.
Philadelphia
Five.
76ers team will go
been
nowhere
connected.
with Joel Embiid still on the roster. But to each their own. I know Jared McCain has looked good recently.
Do you know him
But-
personally?
I see his TikToks. I mean, they're fantastic.
They are
They're
fantastic.
very entertaining.
Good
But
TikTok.
Yes.
Good
But anyway,
TikToks.
Will, how are we feeling about the Sixers going forward?
Not too hot.
Okay,
Not too
that's
hot.
fair enough. They
I
are
gotta be honest.
3-11?
Look, here's what we got, right?
2-12.
3-12.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-12 now. Look, you come into this season as one of the favorites to win the NBA Finals after picking up Paul George. You have a pretty good offseason, had some great role players. On paper,
By the way, should I add? Paul George did get hurt the other day, so
all right.
I think 2 weeks ish, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
But has he been living up to expectations?
absolutely not. Actually, looking at stats from
He is
Tobias Harris last
Oh,
year.
Tobias
No,
Harris.
Tobias Harris.
Missing in the shot.
Whoa, Tobias
He is-
Harris.
He is stat for stat, weight for weight, height for height, Tobias Harris. And there's no
I
question where
I completely disagree. Explain
Yeah,
explain
I disagree too because
Yeah.
Tobias Harris was actually better last year.
Whoa,
than Paul George is
my
playing
God.
this year.
Don't
It's
disagree.
actually
I agree
insane.
with you. I agree
It
with
is
you on that.
completely
He
insane.
is
All right,
100%.
all right. Hold on. Let's slow down.
Will,
Let's slow down.
Will, please take the
Slow
floor.
down.
Take the
Slow
floor. I'll
down.
move the mic up a
Slow
little bit,
down.
please. Go ahead.
Look, we've all spent 5 years in the Tobias Harris era.
We've been processing.
we
We
lived
hated
through
it.
that,
We
dude.
hated
We've
it.
been
We lived
ugly,
through it.
ugly.
It was like COVID as a Philly sports fan, right? This is that's a time that we will all remember in history as a very brutal time,
That's very true.
right?
It's very true.
Now look, Tobias Harris,
He
now
did.
that he was here.
He
Tobias
did.
Harris, great guy. On the floor, regular season, he showed up when he needed to occasionally. But
Sure.
when you get to June and you get maybe into July, we've hardly touched July as Sixers fans.
Not in my memory.
Nope, not at all. 2001, last time.
Where did he go?
Yeah. Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'm
where do we go from here?
I'm gonna listen for Will's sake, and I agree with everything he said up to July in the sense of like the Sixers fan and the fan base, we hated on Tobias. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong.
We did.
We did. We
That's
hated
fair.
him.
That's
we
fair.
hated on him. And listen, when you have your entire state and your entire fan base hate on you, are you going to perform at your maximum potential?
No.
You're not. Tobias was a great player when the people were behind him and the team was behind him.
This
No,
is-
no, we use the
I'm-
word great.
No,
we use the
yeah.
word great when we're talking about Michael Jordan.
What I'm saying, all right, fair enough. You're gonna be a good player whenever
He's got a point.
When everyone's behind you, you're gonna be a good player. We and the team, everybody else. Listen, the ball was put off Tobias. He was sitting there on the wing with no one ready to pass him the ball, and like playoffs.
But he's
struggle for
not-
us.
But he's not a critical player in crunch time.
Well, we didn't make
All
him.
he does is
We
miss.
didn't make him a critical player.
But
He
why,
sat there on the
but
wing
why
waiting for the
did we
ball.
make him a critical player?
Because we hated on him so much. Listen,
But
in-
he was terrible. He didn't
Hold
show
on,
up.
you know,
He was
you know-
grown-ass-
You know who
He's a
was?
grown-ass man.
Hold on. You know who was a critical player? Fucking Nick Batum. I'm sorry for my language. I don't usually
Thank you.
curse on this podcast,
Thank you.
but Nick Batum,
He's
a
got
guy,
point.
a guy on the bench over Tobias Harris. Look, I'm happy we let go
Jason
Tobias.
off-screen
There's
is
not a
agreeing,
chance
by
that
the
Tobias
way.
Harris should have ever been on this team for this year. But I'm not saying Paul George is the answer, and I'm still saying Joel Embiid is not the
All
answer.
right, so
Agreed.
let's shift
Agreed.
real quick. So the Sixers are 3-12 right now. It's not at a great point. Davis and I have already stated our stances on this. I want you, everyone else who's not on camera, to come in and say, can the Sixers make the playoffs? And
That's a
no,
crazy question.
No,
And
hold on.
And they're
Hold on.
moving. Yeah.
Non-reactionary. I need you to look
Mhm.
deep in your heart of hearts right now. Is there a chance they can win still?
No.
Amir, an original member, please.
I'll just say no. I'll just say no.
All right.
all I gotta say.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Jason, what's your take?
There's a chance that they can make it playoffs. However, given the way that they're currently playing, and again, I think that Maxey dropping a lot of points and the combination of him and McCain playing really, really well,
Fair.
yes, they could sneak into like that 6, 7, 8 spot in the playoffs. Yes. However, right, with the way that Paul George is playing and with the way that they've been playing in the first 15 games of the season, however many they played.
15 exactly.
15 exactly. There you go. with the amount of games that they've played in the season, there's absolutely no chance that they're making the playoffs with the way that they've been playing. However, if they pick it up and if Maxey steps up and if McCain steps up, then yes.
What about the trade deadline? Things like that. I know not to get too deep into it, but maybe buyout season. There's always guys that come available at the critical time, and like the Sixers aren't that far off, right? Like,
And also,
maybe a couple shooters.
Look at their record right now. They're pretty far off. I don't care about the amount of talent they have on their team right now. It depends on how well they're playing.
I'm trying to be optimistic, and that's a stat I can't agree with.
And
I can't disagree with.
I'm going to agree with you in the sense of, listen, record does not show the actual talent you have on the court. We've been dealing with injuries. We've been dealing with a lot of miscommunication.
Now connected to
We've also
iPhone.
ignore
5.
that. But we've been dealing with a lot of players who have had, like, listen, the media has been blowing a lot of things out of proportion, and that's true. There's been leaked media conversations with Maxey and other people in the sense that
Well, not with Maxey.
with Maxey talking about
things that included Maxey, but he did not have any.
Maxey's being a leader.
Yeah,
He was being a leader.
He's
That's fair enough, David. Fair enough.
The way that he called out Embiid was actually awesome.
I love it.
love that.
I agree.
That's great.
Listen, let's be honest.
Embiid's not a leader.
We've been
No, Davis.
Here's what I'm saying.
Please,
Here's what I'll say.
Hold on.
I don't necessarily think Embiid isn't a leader. I do think,
Agreed.
however, that Embiid could be a better leader.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Showing up on time for once.
100%. Yeah.
I would like to say clearly Mason and Jason did not listen to our podcast last week because Ethan and I ran through the exact same thing last week.
For sure.
And,
But that's neither here nor there.
No, would like to say I completely agree. I as I said last week, I don't think this team makes the playoffs the way that they're standing right now. And when it comes to buyout season and everything like that, we don't have the money, the cap space. We spend it all on Paul George. We do not have the space to actually get another player and try to go for a May, June, July run this year. So that's why I'm saying sit it down and take Chandler Parsons' advice and sit Embiid for the rest of the year, trade him in the offseason, and go for next year.
That sounds drastic, but it's not a crazy take. I'm going to take this opportunity and break off this conversation because we could talk about this all day. Let's talk about some college football. And Amir, I know you're on your phone over there, but I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you over here for some college football talk because Amir, Penn State. No, come on. Penn State barely nudged out a victory today against Minnesota. Davis, I'll give you the floor first.
Yeah, ugly. Watching this game, we had no rush offense. That's our entire offense, and that's how it's going to have to be in December and January if we want to make a run. We only had 10 rushing yards in the first half.
That's terrible.
Out of the 2 5-star running backs that we had, Nick Singleton did not play well. Katron Allen actually did not have a single touch in the first half.
That's crazy.
But, Amir, I want to throw it out to you right now. I think at this point we're going to have a home game coming into December, late December, a Christmas game.
We have Maryland next week to take care of
Correct,
Christmas.
but a Christmas game, possibly coming to State College. Do you think we can take down an SEC team at home in the cold of State College?
The rhetoric right now is that SEC teams are built different than the Big Ten teams. I mean, the Big Ten teams are oftentimes looked at as run first, the
Ground and pound heavy.
Exactly. Ground and pound, really grind for those yards. SEC's a big explosive plays, of really exciting kind of things on the offense. But I think that we kind of do have some of the skills there. Depends on Drew Aller. Look at today. Today being the game against, of course, we had Maryland. Not Maryland.
Minnesota, the North Star.
Minnesota. We had some great moments, but Drew Aller was not able to perform the entire time.
He still hasn't really shown those 5 stars that he was recruited for.
He has not shown those 5 stars. And I think that when we come to those SEC teams that are exciting and that have those big plays,
especially the 2 lost teams,
we are not going to be able to perform as well as we normally do against a team like Minnesota, who's not really that good. They do have 6. I mean, they had 6 wins, but
they still do 6 and 5.
They still have 6 wins.
6 and 5.
6 and 5 is not that great, to be honest.
No, it's barely above 500, and that's a team that we should be able to destroy.
We should be able to destroy them. Purdue,
for sure.
Purdue, we destroyed them.
For sure,
they're gone.
Yeah,
see ya.
Yeah.
But a team like Minnesota, we should be able to just knock them out of the park and then say goodbye.
It's always tough to go on the road into a Big Ten country like that for sure. But
Ski-U-Ma, yes, but Minnesota should have been.
Yeah,
should have been.
Fair enough. No, I completely agree. And I'm actually going to give this time to a person who has been a D1 Penn State hater to me personally, Davis, that I feel I should give the spotlight to, Mr. David Shue, my brother. This kid personally hates on Penn State every chance he gets to me. He talks about Drew Aller like he's like
Absolutely.
that. So
Absolutely.
David, please
Now
give us
connected
your
to
take
iPhone.
on
5.
Penn State and their chances going forward, because they'll probably go at least 11-1 the rest of the way. They'll probably get a home playoff game, David, and they might even go beyond that. So let's give you your chance.
I watched a lot of Penn State this year so far. I think that Penn State has a lot of potential. I think that when their good players step up and play a full game, I don't think they can win a national championship like now, but I think that they can go far, especially given the fact if they do end up playing Georgia. We saw the Georgia-Bama game and how Bama was able to break Georgia apart in the first half. Again, that's Bama playing Georgia. Like, Bama is superior above everyone, but I think that Penn State, if they show up and play and Drew Aller's on, I think that they can win in the first round.
This isn't the same energy you've been showing me, David. I have to be honest here.
No, but I think it's respectable energy.
I hate Penn State. Like, I'm like, look, Blair.
I just have to be honest to the viewers. That's all.
It feels like unbiased energy, especially looking at the SEC today when you're seeing Alabama now down by 3 scores to Oklahoma, and you're also now seeing Auburn playing in a tight game against a ranked Texas A&M team. Ole Miss lost today to Florida. Is the SEC really legit? We'll see in December when all these SEC teams are going to have to come up north and play the Big Ten teams, like I've been saying for the last few weeks.
I also think that now this college football playoff is expanded. I think that these teams are given this opportunity on play on such stage that they're going to show up, and there's no option to not show up. These teams are given this opportunity.
I completely agree.
They're given this opportunity to come,
especially in the age of NIL.
Yeah, and win a national championship. These players are coming to play every single one. And, you got to think, like, Penn State is always just outside of the college football playoff last, I don't know, X amount of years.
Even the year they beat
the
year they beat Ohio State, they were.
This year, it's looking like they're going to get an opportunity to prove themselves, and I think that they're going to show up and rise to the occasion and win a big football game.
I hope you're right, David.
But that's the point I want to make, is that Penn State is getting an opportunity, which is 100% what Penn State needs, because not getting the opportunity and playing in the Citrus Bowl is not another thing that we want to see.
Maybe we get that point, but like
James Franklin's a moron.
100% not disagreeing. James Franklin is a moron. Get me Matt Rule in here ASAP, because he's going to turn this program
around.
around.
Different name than James Franklin.
He's going to get this program turned around, but for now we have to live with James Franklin.
Shout out to Nebraska today. They beat Wisconsin in a very important game. They are bowl eligible for the first time in 8 years. That's very important. Shout out to Nebraska. All right, Davis, let's get to NFL. Fellas, I need you all in here. The Birds have a very important game tomorrow night against the Rams on Sunday Night Football. It's a giant game. Play for a second, then pause it. Play for a second, then pause it, please. The Rams are 5-5. The Eagles are 8-2. This is a very important game for the Rams, Davis. I cannot emphasize that enough. They are 5-5, a breaking point in the division. Will, I'm going to call you in again first, and then Matt, you are next. Phillies. I'm talking like my sister. The Eagles. The Eagles have a giant game. How are you feeling about the Birds going forward?
Dude, the Birds are hot. The Birds are hot. The offense finally looks like some semblance of 22.
Yeah.
They could go all the way as long as the head coach doesn't keep getting in the way. It seems like he really wants to touch Jalen's butt every time they score a tutty and go for 2.
It works.
But not necessarily.
I've been saying the same thing, though. I completely agree.
I don't like it. I think game management is going to be key for the Birds going forward. I think, like I said, the offense is looking really nice right now. The defense is looking even better. I mean, it looks like we have the best defense in the NFL at the moment.
For sure.
But game management is going to be really
All right,
key.
Matty, come in. Matt, come on.
Get in there.
All right, David, come on. Eagles next take from David Shue. 1, 2, 3. David, go ahead.
I think that if our defense plays the way that we played, who we play last? I forget.
We played the Rams. Oh, last week.
Yes,
Played the
last
Commanders on Thursday
Yes.
Night Football.
Oh yeah, I was actually at that game. I attended that game. My good
You
friend.
were
Brett
at the
Murphy.
game.
I know. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I know. I'm sorry.
How was the
At the
atmosphere?
game.
I'm
First of all,
sorry.
how was the atmosphere?
Yeah,
It was
give it-
electric.
Yeah, good.
come on.
Good.
It was electric. I'm sorry, I forgot that. I don't know.
It's been a hectic night.
I think that when our defense,
Stop it. Pause it.
Mm.
I mean,
No more sound.
you know, the
Our
cliche saying, defense wins games. Defense does win games.
Indeed.
There is no way that we won that game without our defense. Quinyon is playing like a 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback.
100%.
I cannot
we have-
emphasize that enough. He's right. Yeah.
We have C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who I'm not going to blame him for a couple losses.
He's
but
been
I'm
a
gonna
point
blame
of
him for
consistency.
A couple losses, and he's been playing better.
Yes, he's been a point of
Our
consistency.
D line's there, all of our backs, and I think that we need to get the ball into number 11's hands more than we did.
I
against
completely agree.
Commanders.
Now, Absolutely. I'll tell you right now, I
Yeah.
think I think the ball's going to get in his hands a lot this
I
weekend.
completely agree.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be shocked if he has 8 catches for 110 yards and 2
And if you
touchdowns.
think about this, teams are scouting us for 3 absolute studs.
Yep.
Saquon, AJ, and Devontae Smith.
Bring it home.
They have. No, I'm done.
All right, Amir, your turn. Your turn. The Eagles this Sunday. I think Davis. What's the spread?
The Eagles are favored by 2.5.
Amir, what do you think of that 2.5 spread?
First off, we have to praise Jesus.
Coming from a known Jew.
We do have a lot to thank God for. Okay.
All right, let's get back to this.
Shout out Adonai.
We honestly, our defense is looking good, and I'm excited for the Jalen Hurts offense. But I'm more excited for AJ to get into stride. But let's not play. Nick Sirianni is doing his thing. People are playing with him. And I think that a lot of the blame is going on him when it really shouldn't be. We really need to be paying attention to how good Nick Sirianni is coaching these games. He ain't doing the work! Nick Sirianni.
Baldini.
All right, so some great points.
I actually agree.
Some great points made by Amir. Ryan, I need you to rein it in for a second because you are our next guest. Ryan is Mr. Gear in the comments of every single video. If you are paying attention, Mr. Gear 0.0. So Ryan, I need you to honestly get it together for a second. Eagles Rams this weekend. The Rams receivers have been very dynamic recently. How are you feeling about the Eagles?
Feeling good. I'm taking Philly -3 and Denver -5.5.
Yo.
Okay.
For my solid parlay.
Okay. I like it from Ryan. It's a good take.
Tommy Cutlets is going to destroy Davis's parlay.
Whoa! Whoa! Tommy Cutlets is nobody. They should have started Drew Lock. Should have started Drew
All right,
Lock.
let's go into the Giants. Who are they playing this week?
They're playing the Buccaneers. I'll give
Playing
you
the
my
Buccaneers.
parlay right now. I agree with Ryan.
Davis and I love the Buccaneers. -5.5, -6, whatever the line is right now. We love, praise Jesus.
Eagles.
Love the Buccaneers.
Eagles -2.5.
Yep.
We're gonna go with the Broncos, like Ryan said, -5.5 against
Yep.
the Raiders.
Yep, I like it, Ryan.
And then we got the Buccaneers -5.5
Yes, sir.
against the Giants and Tommy Cutlets. No way Tommy Cutlets does anything this week. They want to lose. That's why they did not start Drew Lock.
Forgot about that. Thank you, Mason. I forgot about this. Daniel Jones was released.
Yes, he was.
How about that?
He's about
He was
to-
released.
He's about to be a Dallas Cowboy, says some insiders, but we'll see. We'll
We'll
see.
see. He's possibly going to sign with a contender soon. Good point, David.
Agreed.
He's possibly going to be signing with a contender soon on a 1-year deal. Who do you think that is?
I think it's the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think it's going to a contender.
I
That's
said
my point.
I said contender, though.
And that's why I said I don't think it's going to a contender.
But I said contender, so.
It's going to be a team that doesn't have too much of a backup, so I don't see it being.
Don't get me wrong, Davis. I also want Tommy Cullets against Danny Jones on Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Giants versus Cowboys. I just don't think it's possible. So with Rapshi and Schefter using words like contender, who do you think it is?
I could see possibly a Baltimore Ravens move.
Ooh,
I could
I
see
like that
somebody
move.
behind Lamar. I could
I
see
like that
somebody
move.
maybe even behind Bo
I like that
Nix,
move.
behind in Denver.
I like that move.
I could see Daniel Jones being a better backup than Zach Wilson in Denver.
I don't
also.
like that. Daniel Jones is terrible.
Agreed. I'm not disagreeing with that. That's why I think he goes to Dallas because Dallas is a bunch of losers and they don't want to win games this year.
5.
Fair enough. Pause it. Let's go, Daniel.
Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes. He's been released. There's not much more than that. Another amazing point made. But I think that is it for this episode. We're gonna play the outro in like 10 seconds. But like and subscribe, share. We appreciate you guys tuning in.
I cannot wait for the Mr. Gear comment on this because that's going to be fantastic. A weekly appearance by Mr. Gear.
Yes. Yeah, Mr. Gear's a beast. Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. Appreciate it. See ya.